Welcome to this Yin Yoga with Props class. We're going to be using a few different props today. So if you have a strap handy, if you don't have a strap, you can certainly use a belt, a block, and if you don't have a block, you can use something similar size. And if you want to get ultra cozy, you can absolutely insert a bolster instead of a block. And then we're going to be using the wall. So we're going to start in our yogi squat with a block. So I'm going to use my block on the medium setting. There's 3 settings on your block, so low, medium, and high. And you can certainly adjust to whatever is most suitable in your body. And I'm going to get real close to the wall here, and that way I can really relax into this. Sitting on the block, widening the feet, and then hands can come heart center, and we can just allow the elbows to guide the knee open and sink into our Malasana. So I am using a little bit of gentle pressure with my elbows, but allowing the hips to soften. You can allow your gaze to close and just tuning inward to the breath. Another option is to lean back. You can open up the arms. Really depends on the anatomy and tightness of your hips. Focus on the breath. In our yin practice, we really want to soften and allow the muscles to disengage and get right into the joints. We have about another minute left in our yogi squat. If you feel comfortable staying here, you can stay. If you wanted to remove the block for the last minute, you can go ahead and stay near the wall. Allow the hips to come up just a little so that you can remove the block. You can again lean against the wall and find your yogi squat. This will probably intensify the posture for these last few breaths. If you'd like to count with me with 3 final breaths here in your yogi squat, take a deep breath in and a big breath out. Another deep breath in and another deep breath out. Final breath in and a final breath out. Good, so we can softly allow the hips to come all the way to the earth. We're going to stay with our back against the wall, coming into our butterfly pose. I'm going to prop my back right against the wall, soles of the feet together. And in this variation, having the soles of the feet, the heels really close to the groin. And you can stay sitting up, guiding the knees open with the hands. And if you want to take a forward fold, leaning forward, hands can grip around the feet. And again, allow the knees to open, softly putting a little bit of pressure with the elbows. If you wanted to fold deeply if your forehead can come to the earth. Absolutely, that variation is here for you. And we'll hold for about 3 minutes. And what you might find in your yin practice is, as time moves and as you soften into the breath, you may find that you can soften into the posture. Our Yin Yoga practice asks more of us in a softer, gentler way. Consistency versus intensity. I often like to compare in a Yin practice this analogy of your life, your efforts, your practice to that of an airplane. And airplanes have to land. They cannot fly forever, and nor can you. They have to refuel. And what happens if they don't land is they crash land, right? And then all you're left with is triage. So if you feel like you are out of gas in your life, land your plane. The rest you need. Refuel. Begin again. We have about another minute here in this posture. If you wanted to take 3 slow breaths with me, take a big breath in and a big breath out. Big breath in, big breath out. Maybe sinking a little deeper for this last big breath in. And this last big breath out. Good. All right, we're going to come all the way onto our mats to lay down. We're going to come into a supine twist. All right, so we're going to come onto our backs here, taking the strap. And now you have options here. If your strap is long enough, you might be able to make a loop with your strap. Place the loop around the base of the neck and then extend the leg up and hook the strap around the foot. And in this variation here, you can get that hamstring opening without having to hold the strap. If your strap is not quite long enough, that's okay. We'll just loop the strap around the right foot, and you can allow either one or both hands to hold the strap. And we can just stay steady here. This can feel really supported if you have this strap looped. It kind of just takes any pressure and work out of the body. We have about another minute here if you want to take 3 slow breaths. Breathe in. Big sigh out. 2 more. Big breath in. Big breath out. 1 more big breath in. And a big sigh out. We're going to allow the foot to fall just slightly to the right. So if you have the strap in hand, you're going to switch the strap to your left hand. Not a big opening here. We're just allowing the foot to fall slightly over to the left side. And then we can come back to center, switch hands, and we'll allow the foot to fall open all the way to the right. Your left hand can be extended if you wanted to bring the hand to the hip for a little bit of support. And we'll hold this for about a minute. Let's take 2 big breaths together. Fill up and release. 1 more deep breath in. Deep breath out. We'll bring that foot back to center, and then we can bend the knees, softly release the strap. And if there's any movement that you like to take after that deep opening, you can take any movement. It can feel good to take a little sway. And then we're just going to go ahead and switch sides, wrapping the foot, the strap around the foot. Maybe you can slip the loop around the base of the neck. And of course, the foot does not have to be straight. The knee can be bent. And we can allow it to straighten after time. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more opening into the hamstring after holding it for a few breaths. You can adjust the strap, even bringing the strap closer to the heel or adjusting the tightness. Get a little bit more intensity. Of course, we never want pain. We're just looking for the stretch and a softening. We have about another minute left in this variation of your hamstring stretch. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. Fill up. Exhale, release. Another big breath in. Big breath out. And the final one, fill up. And a soft release. We're going to allow the strap to come into the right hand, taking just a teeny tiny tip over to our right side. And then we can come back to center, switch, and allow the left foot to fall open to the left side. Again, right arm can extend, or maybe the right hand comes to the hip. Let's take 2 final breaths here. Fill up. Release. Another big breath in. And another big breath out. Good. All right. Bringing that foot back to center. You can unloop the strap from your foot. And we're going to be coming into our figure 4. So we're going to be using the wall for this. So we're going to get really close to the wall here with the hips. You can even come onto your side body, onto one hip. And then as you lay on your back, you're going to send the feet up the wall. Now, depending on the opening in your hips, if you have really tight hips, you might want to be a little farther away from the wall. If you've got a little bit more opening, the glutes can be really close to the wall. And what we're going to do is we're going to bend our left knee and bring the left foot onto the earth. Press into your left foot. We're going to pick up the hips, and you're just going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, and then allow the hips to come back to the earth. And we just soften here. The hands can stay by your side. If it feels more supportive to hold onto that bent knee that's in front of you and the shin for support, you can take a hold of that. If you feel like this is a little too intense, your options are to slide the left foot up the mat, or if you want a little bit of a deeper opening, we can even intensify that by sliding the left foot down the mat. This is one of my absolute favorite supported yin postures. Having props available and utilizing the wall can really just allow you to soften and deepen into all the postures. Of course, at any time, if you're feeling any pain, you can make any adjustments that you need to come out of the posture, even if it's just an inch or two, or adjusting. We try not to fidget, but of course we don't want to be feeling any pain. Certainly tingling and uncomfortableness is part of a yin practice, so you may be feeling a little bit of those sensations. We have about another close to a minute, so we can take those 3 slow breaths together. Fill up. Exhale, release. Let's do 2 more. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then this final breath in. Final full round out. And then to come out of this, we can press into our left foot coming out just the way we came in. We can send the legs straight up to the sky, just for a little counter pose here. And then we'll move to the other side. So this time you're going to bend the opposite knee, the right knee I'm cueing. We press into the foot, the hips come off of the earth, cross the left ankle over, and then we softly let the hips settle back down. I'm certainly a little tighter on my left side, so you might find that you're feeling a little more open or maybe a little tighter from one side to the other. I like to keep my left ankle flexed just to protect that knee from twisting. About halfway there. Surrender, settle in. Switch the narrative in the mind if it's talking back to you. Maybe you can focus on the breath or what feels good in the body right now, what feels supported. Let's take those 3 final breaths together. Fill up. Breathe it out. 2 more. Breathe in. Big sigh out. And then this final one, biggest breath in. Big breath out. Softly unwinding, and then the feet can go straight up. And then we're going to come into, from here, our straddle with legs up the wall. We're already here, we might as well just start to walk the heels apart. Some of you might go pretty far in this posture. Some of you might stay up a little higher. You can have hands supporting underneath of the thighs if it's feeling too intense. This is a great place for your blocks to go too. Or if you want it a little bit more, you can just softly have the hands on the inner thighs. And in this posture, we get the benefits of an inversion as well as the benefits of our deep front center stretch. And you might find after a few breaths that the heels naturally want to slide down a little deeper, and that's certainly okay. You can adjust if you're feeling more open. We're about halfway there. Allow this pose to feel deeply nourishing in the inner thighs. Let's take those 3 final breaths together. Fill up. And a big breath out. 2 more, big breath in. Big sigh out. Last one, fill up. And relax. You can come out of this in any way that feels natural. I like to swing my legs to close, almost coming out of it just how I started, turning back onto all fours as gracefully as you can. And then from here, we're going to come into our supported fish pose. So a couple of blocks will be handy for you. And if you don't have a second block, you can use a pillow for support against the head. And if you wanted to just use a bolster, you can just lay your bolster down. And I'll show you what it looks like with 2 blocks, just in case you don't have a bolster. And what we'll do is we'll take our block and we're going to put it on the medium setting, and we're going to do it lengthwise down the spine. Okay. I'll place it this way and I'll lay it this way on my mat so you can see. And then the second block, we can do a couple of different settings. If you want your head propped up a little higher, you can have it on the highest setting. If you want it a little lower for a little bit more of a throat opening, you can have it on the medium, or the deepest variation would be to have your block on the lowest setting, and the back of the head will go here. And then it would be about the base of your shoulder blades. So you're going to place the block here and just allow the back body to come on. So this is a big deep heart opening. And then we can take our second block and it can just be underneath the head. Again, you get to choose your setting. So if you want it to come up a little bit higher, you can place it on the medium setting here. And then we can allow the arms to fall open. So this should be pretty comfortable. If it's not quite comfortable, you can make any adjustments. Sometimes my students will lower the block. We really just want to get a nice heart opening. And another option is to reach your arms up and over, maybe even interlace them. And the feet can stay extended. If you're wanting another variation, and you really prefer the butterfly, you can slide the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to fall open. We'll hold this one for about another 5 breaths. So if you want to count with me, take a big breath in and a big breath out. So let's do 4 more together. Inhale. Last 2 breaths, fill up. Last big breath in. And big breath out. Come out of this, we can come onto the elbows, lifting up just enough to get those blocks from out behind you. Coming to lay down on your back again, we'll bring the knees into the chest. And then to come into our supine twist with a strap, with a block, we can allow the knees to fall to the right. Maybe if this is a little too intense here, we can place a block underneath of the knees. Okay. It can also feel really nice to place a block between the knees. And if you're looking for something a little less supportive but a little bit more intense, here's where we can take our strap and we can wrap the strap around the left foot with the right hand, and we can extend the foot, turning our gaze the opposite direction. So we're getting an outer hip stretch along with the twist. Thinking of gluing your left shoulder, the one that you're gazing towards, down to the earth. Let's take 5 deep breaths together. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, release. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 3 more. Big breath in. Big breath out. 2 more. Final one. Big breath out. Unhooking the strap if you have that variation, and just allowing the knees to come back to center. Sometimes it can feel good to do a little sway side to side. If you want to go right to the other side, we can pick up the hips, move them to the right as we allow the knees to fall to the left. And again, those variations with your blocks can be comfortable underneath or between the knees, or if you wanted to take your strap variation, left hand wraps the strap around that right foot. And now that I have a block over here, another variation too is to place the foot on a block. That can feel really supportive as well. These spinal twists bring fresh, oxygenated blood flow to your incredibly important spine. Don't underestimate the power of these simple spinal twists. Let's take 5 slow and controlled final breaths together in this posture. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Sorry, 3 more. Big breath in. Big breath out. These are your final 2. And last big breath in. Big sigh out. Unwinding back to center. And then we can come into our final shavasana. You wanted to use your bolster or blocks underneath of the knees or the hips. You can take that variation. I'll show you what that looks like. So if you're taking a bolster variation, this is very restorative. Placing your knees on your bolster and just coming to lay down. And another variation is, which feels incredible, might I add. Last variation would be your block. And just taking a supported bridge here, picking up those hips and placing your block on your sacrum, which is just above your tailbone, the flat part on your low back. And you can allow the arms to extend. The knees can stay up. A deeper back bend would be to extend them long. And if you come into this and it feels a little too intense or not quite comfortable, please change it. You can certainly remove the block and rest in your final shavasana. You are in this supported bridge pose with me. We'll take 3 breaths before we remove the block. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Last one, fill up. And release. We can press into the feet, pick up those hips, removing our block, and allow the hips to come down and resting into your final rest. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need in your practice. 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Thank you for sharing your Yin Yoga practice with me. It was an honor. And if you liked this class, hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.